I don't have
No,
one.
that's okay.
I tell you what, you can look on with me, though.
I will, but
The first one, we need to, we do have a quorum with John Likeness, Peter Rodriguez here, and our attorney's not here tonight, he's in West Texas. We have with us Ches Paris, who's gonna be our event center facility manager, Monica Belize, Gloria Martinez, and Ms. Dickens.
Dickinson.
Dickens, okay. With us also tonight. And I'll thank you for coming. Let's rise for the invitation. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas
Flag,
I pledge allegiance to thee,
Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, for the invitation. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve our community. We ask that you lead us and guide us into making proper decisions and give us the counsel and guidance to do what is best for the citizens of our community. Help us to serve all people in this community and be of service to our people who trust us in us to guide them. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Okay. Citizen comments. Gloria, do you have anything you'd like to say?
no, not at this time.
Okay. You have anything?
No, good.
Okay. I would like to thank you for being here. I think it's very important that people do come to meetings. And I appreciate you very much for doing so. The first item on the agenda is a brief by the city manager about related issues that affect the corporation. Final statistics from the Freedom Fest and recent council items of interest to the 4A. And I guess, Monica, are you doing that?
I can do the Freedom Fest one. I don't have your budget stuff. They didn't give that to me. If that's the same thing that you all did at budget workshop.
We did a budget workshop with the council in I guess, 3 weeks ago. And what was conveyed to us was that they were very interested in getting more activities here at the center.
Mm-hmm.
They also wanted us to take a more active role with the city in managing the center. They asked several questions about why they wanted, that they wanted the 4A board more involved. And I haven't heard anything from them since, really.
And just to kind of go over what he's discussed, basically at the budget workshop, what was discussed is the council members want to see the board members more involved in the functions that are happening here at the center. They don't want the city to be entirely in control of it. They feel like this is the 4A's building. This is the 4A that, has the sole responsibility of it. Of course, we do have Ches here that does, manage the building for you all. One of their concerns was they had the Freedom Fest back in July, but they said they felt like they had a lot more city employees that were out here, leading the direction of the event than what they had actual 4A board members. They want any future events that take place in the facility to come from 4A board members and for the ideas to come from you all, instead of the city coming up with the ideas and saying, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and just getting y'all's approval on it.
Okay. And that, I agree, that's what I got.
And it makes perfect sense, yeah.
That's what I got. I mean, Councilman Johns was very
Yes.
interested in that.
Yes.
He asked several
wants to
times, he
see,
said,
yeah.
he was very adamant about it. And I could tell from him that was what they wanted us to do. And I'm glad you got the same interpretation
Yes.
that I did. So
So if we move forward on that same line, what I'm going to give you here is this is a breakdown of the Freedom Fest report. The event, if you want to pass that down, the event that occurred here on July 1st. I know Tony came to you all and presented, a report to you all and presented some numbers to you all. He sent us the same thing. Once I went in and did all the finance part of it, we got people paid out. We had our revenue come in through ticket sales, vendor booths, donations from different people. This was our final breakdown on it. So you'll see at the beginning, these are all of our expenses that were paid out. The event contract lists Estella Rivera. That's actually Tony that was paid. On his invoices, he was specific that checks be made out to this person. She was a so-called partner of his. And then, of course, you have all your bands, and then you have your fireworks, your kids' activities, your printing, your outdoor stage. Now, your event staff that is listed here, these are all staff that Tony brought in. These are people he wanted to work, with the exception of the two last individuals mentioned, which is Sharon Kerrigan and Deborah Corsick. Those are your two regular bar staff members that we use on a regular basis, correct, Chaz?
Yes.
To run the bar anytime you have events here at the facility. Other than that, everybody else was brought in by Tony. He determined the pay, he determined the amount of hours that they worked. Then it goes on to your sound and lighting. Your sound and lighting covers your stage outside. Event production. So this is your Texas Portacool was the cooling fan that was outside. The National Construction Rental, that covered your fencing for the event and your hand sanitizing stations. Paul's Trophy, that took care of the trophies for the car show that went on during the day. Mad Designs did all of your printing for your signs and banners. Univision was your radio advertising. And then the Estella Rivera that you see again, that was an invoice turned in by Tony at the end of the event for any purchases that he said he made as an out-of-pocket expense. It included decorations. He bought some wristbands. He bought some stamps that they used at the front door.
Okay.
Just miscellaneous items like that.
Okay.
We do have all the invoices and all the backup for that. If y'all want to see any of that or if any of it is in question. The security, of course, that's something we have to have at the facility. Alcohol being involved, a big crowd, stuff
Right.
like that. It is up a bit more from last year. Reason being for that, one more officer was brought in. Originally, when we had set it up, the bike patrol officer was not going to be able to do it. At the end, he came in and said he could do it, so that expense came on at the very end. And then you see bar, and when we say band per Tony Rivera, the Coors Light and the Bud Light, those two expenses, those were per him, those were given to the band. I'm not sure if that was an agreement that he made with them or what that was, but that was given to the band at no charge.
Okay.
The volunteer drinks, we had one of the rooms and behind the stage, one of the dressing rooms set up for all the volunteers that were working, and it included just that, a case of water, a case of Powerade, a case of Coke, and a case of Sprite. So whenever you look at it, you have your expense totals at $39,580.06. So we go on to the next page, and you're going to have your revenue. When I show petty cash return, it's just basically going to match out what you saw on the very first page where we pulled the petty cash for the day of the event. Pre-sale tickets, those are any tickets that were sold by any board members. Those were tickets that were sold at locations such as Wilson County News, Richardson's, Smith Propane.
Walmart, whatever.
I can't remember exactly who all we had. So that is all pre-sale tickets at the $5 price.
Okay.
Day of event tickets, those are the tickets that were sold through the ticket window here, and those were sold at the $10 a piece. VIP tables, of course, were sold at $100 a piece, so $1,100 was brought in on that. Your vendor booths, as far as crafts that were inside the building, and then your food booths outside, you brought in a total of $2,220. Your bar and concession sales, that was all your beer, your sodas, your water, your Gatorade, stuff like that. You're right at $6,286. Then we go on to donations. You have your San Antonio River Authority, FEDC, Taco Bell, Wells Fargo, Walmart, Floresville Dental, Richardson's, and Phelps. So our revenue totals is at $38,994. So we're at a difference of $586.06. Now, if you look at the bottom, we do have Heartland and Republic. If you all remember, Heartland sponsored the Kids Zone that was down in the gym We have not received their donation check yet. Mrs. Turner did reach out to them, and they have, told us, yes, we're following through, the check is in the mail now. Tony didn't follow up with them afterwards or prior to the event, so we're assuming that's why nothing came in. Same goes for Republic. We've contacted our Republic rep, and we have that donation coming in as well. And then, just to mention, there was a lot of hours that were donated by city staff, like myself and Ches, another clerk from our office, and then we had a lot of public works, employees out here as well, setting up, prior to the event, tearing down the day of the event, that we had some here that morning, making sure everything was ready to go. So, and that's basically a rundown of everything. I know that the numbers that he presented to you all are rather different,
Yes.
but
Yep.
these
are the numbers.
These are the numbers.
Okay.
This is what we have.
So we have a potential of a,
So yes, so we have a
3,000
potential of a profit
profit.
of $2,913.94.
okay.
Potential.
Yes.
And I know that you're basically just walking us through
Yes.
the event itself in terms of finances, but, and this isn't a question for you, but I've still got some questions, and I'm not sure who would address them at this point since the event is over, and, in terms of the donations, in terms of sponsorships, and then the actual, where the sponsorships went and the dollars used for those sponsorships, there's some questions there for me. I mean, I think we brought it up when Mr. Rivera was here about, like, let's say, how the FEDC gave $8,000 towards the fireworks show because we couldn't use hot funds for that. But Richardson Brothers got the marquee for the fireworks show. I mean, that was,
Yeah,
to
there
me,
were- there were questions about who sponsored what.
Right.
Now-
And who got the credit
Right.
for that.
To my understanding, it should have been FEDC that sponsored the fireworks. And if you look at it, it's an even match. The fireworks cost us $8,000. FEDC put in a sponsorship of $8,000.
and that's what they
Now,
were
as
asked to do.
far as the advertising part of it, that was all in Tony's control. He put together the flyers. He put together who the sponsors were.
What he did was he just used Richardson's as a firework sponsorship, but it was really FEDC.
It was really
They were kind of
FEDC.
upset about that.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, to me, the good thing is, like, if we do this in-house next year, I mean, that extra 4,500 we don't
That's-
spend. I
That's
believe,
something we're
that we're
saving.
gonna talk in. Yeah,
Yes.
that's
yeah,
exactly
That's
right.
something
brings
we're
up
saving.
that number.
And there's a lot of things, I spoke with Mr. Gleason the day of the event, Ches and I have talked afterwards, Tony is the one that has gone out and he was the one that went out and got all the contracts with the bands. We could have probably saved a lot of money within that area too.
Sure.
Even as far as your sound and lighting and your stage setting up. Whenever you look at invoices, you kind of know it's a joint thing that's kind of going on. And
it's stuff that we can start looking at now
Yes.
for next year.
And Ches has had an event here, and he's had sound done here before for half the cost of what Tony
Yeah.
spent for this. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of places that we can cut costs in this event that
And they're
won't cost
local
us.
people ready to be a
as
part
much.
of it, so
That's
that's the
good.
best part of it. We get
That's
community
good.
involved.
I know we had just people throughout the day making comments. You have certain vendors that are here trying to sell a turkey leg for $12, and it's just not gonna
No, it's
happen.
not gonna fly.
And it goes down to all that, even for like having the food vendors out here, all the prices were different.
Mhm.
So one person paid $225 and the next person paid $150.
There wasn't a set price
Yeah.
for each vendor. Each vendor, the way he explained it to me was, it depends on what they're selling, that's the price I'll give them. And I think what we should do is just have a set
Set
price
price.
for all your vendors.
Kind of like an IOSA where you go and you have tickets, you have,
Yes.
if you're gonna get a turkey leg, you get 3
Yes.
tickets or
And
something.
we're,
Yeah.
and we're not that
Everything's
big yet. Like Peanut Festival, you can do that.
Because Peanut Festival takes profits off
Right.
of the vendor themselves.
Right.
We're not, we're here, we're charging you the $200 to put yourself a vendor booth out there, and what you make is yours, but I can't have the next person come in and say, okay, so you're gonna sell snow cones, well, I'm gonna charge you $75
Yeah.
instead. It's not fair to everyone else. Whenever you have the craft vendors inside, then everybody's paying the same price.
Right.
So, in looking at this, just again, let's a second look here. Basically for production, for entertainment production, sound and lighting, outdoor stage, and the two gentlemen that worked with the bands, our actual event production, entertainment production was a little over $3,000, $3,200.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking at, it's just put in different areas.
Well, on your bands alone, you spent.
Yeah, well,
quite
that's
a
not
bit
even
of
counting the
money.
bands, that's another 10 grand.
Yeah,
So entertainment as a whole is right about 13,000
yes.
and some change.
It was very costly.
Yeah, that's a big expenditure. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it could have probably gone out to bid, and we could have
Yes.
probably had some options.
Yes.
I know that it's easy to be a backseat driver at this point, and since the event's already over. But again, we learn from things, and if we do, like Chess said, if it's
You know,
in-house, we roll with the punches and learn from what we could have done better.
Well, it appears that we're gonna end up in a profitable end when it's all said and done. But, and the other thing is, it was a good activity for the community.
Yes,
And
it was.
I thought, Ms. Turner made that point very plainly. But I agree with you, there's a lot of things we do, and as Monica said, the night we were in here, the night of that festival, the three of us were talking about different things that we thought could be done a little differently. And one of the things that we talked about was approving this thing right away for next year, that we're gonna do it and go on, so he can be lining people up and marketing this. We didn't actually start till what, March?
Yeah,
March,
March,
April,
yeah.
March.
Yeah, we didn't get to go at the one.
Yeah, it was like last minute.
Yeah, we need to make sure, and the year before was the same way, we need to make sure that we have, if we can line this stuff up and, earlier, I think we'll do better.
I concur. I think even with, let's say Richardson Brothers, who's already said they'll commit to next year, they just want at least a 10-month heads up, at least, and we're already within that time frame. So yes, going out and garnering sponsors is a big plus, because then we know what we're working with in terms of dollars. I know that the event, from what I understand, attendance was down this year versus last year, but we sold more beer and still made a profit. So even though there were less folks, there was still a positive through the whole experience. So there's ground to build on, that's for sure.
What we wanna do is, get 3 to 4 events that we're gonna plan a year, and we can take it to Richard and says, hey, instead of keep going back every so many months, we take them, hey, we have these 3, 4 events that we're gonna do all year, what can you help us with? Instead of us going and hitting them up every event, hey, we need your sponsor.
Plus it helps them to go with their marketing for the year,
Yes,
within
with
their
their marketing for the year,
capital
they just-
expenditures.
Yes, it'll be a lot easier for us and them.
Sure. That's why they want that 10 months ahead of time, something.
And I think that's where putting together those marketing packages, so the sponsorship packages, that will help you determine what you're looking at in terms of the event center budget. When you start putting together these events, we kind of get a better picture, better snapshot of what we can do versus what we would like to do, but then you gotta go fish for the dollars.
Yes.
And that's the hard part, is making it work
The
after
donation,
the fact.
yeah, the donations and the sponsors for coming up for this next year, starting now, if we work up a tier of donations and sponsorships, we can better do this, and that would probably get more of the local businesses and maybe area businesses involved, and that could help everybody, not just one or two of the
And I think-
big players.
I think one of the words that you said was so key there was area.
Yes,
We hit there are a lot of people here from different places. And this wasn't just an event for people in Floresville. We had and I think so, we can go out and, we should not be afraid to go out and ask.
we have people from Pleasanton and Poteet over here, so that's not bringing in the plenty of businesses from over that area, whether it's even oil field companies can get
And I
involved
think
with this.
Pleasanton, they don't do these kind of events over there in
No.
that area anymore, so, this is something they
Yeah.
look forward to.
It's good.
I had
to
several
get over
people
there.
from
Yeah, especially the fireworks.
Somerset and places like that.
Yeah,
that
all
came
the
over
surrounding
here.
counties.
So I think that we need to get, I would like to put in our minutes that we're going to ask next month to, on our agenda, to put
To
an
discuss.
item,
Yep.
item discuss this thing and go from there.
I think one of the components that we need to visit as well is marketing, because from what I can tell, on this report, we spent $638 in printing to put flyers in the water bill, and then paid $285 to Univision for some radio, and that was pretty, and other than social media.
$285 on Univision doesn't get you much.
No, and other than social media, which doesn't cost us anything,
Yeah.
that really was the extent of our reach to the area. I think that definitely needs to be addressed, and dollars put aside to do an aggressive marketing campaign for this event.
And it's across several venues to do that.
Absolutely, because there is a lot of reach that we're not even scratching the surface
Sure.
on. Driving traffic here, and especially driving heads and beds for the hotels,
Sure.
because that gets them more involved as well on lowering their average daily rates for these events. So it can be a win-win for everybody if we really just attack this from a strategic
Agreed.
aspect. I know that a lot of this was done at the last minute, I mean, and you're gonna get last minute pricing, but now that we're ahead of the ball, we can really, we're basically in the driver's seat
Sure.
at this point.
Now, your expense on the rich printing, that was, the city of Floresville now uses a different company to do their printing of the water bills and mailing of their water bills. So they are the ones that did all the printing and inserting for the water bills. That's something that Tony also requested to have done. So that's why you see that cost so high. When last year, we did all the printing ourselves and sent the flyers out ourselves. Another thing that we did not do this year was we did not have the billboard up on 37 this year. Tony decided that it was something that was not needed. So, that locked in your advertising as well this year.
Okay, any other comments? Well, like I say, I will
This was good to have.
I will certainly put on the agenda for our September meeting that we look at authorizing this and see where we go from here.
And then also, Mr. Gleason, if you don't mind, I know at the budget workshop, Councilman Silva had also mentioned about possibly reaching out to some type of marketing firm to help the city with events like this. I don't know if that's something maybe y'all want to discuss as a board in the future.
You can always bring that up next month as well, too.
Yes.
Right. There are several things I can put that we need to put on the agenda for next month. And if y'all will send me things to put on there, I'll have it on the agenda. Also, the other thing is they wanted, the council wants us to report to them on a regular basis. They
Okay.
kind of asked that we come and visit with them. And I think that's important. It doesn't always have to be me. It can be, other members of the council too, or we can go as a group, whatever. But I'm going to ask for us to be on the agendas in September at some point. And that way we can follow up on that. I think when we follow up on this, this report, we can also follow up on the other things that they requested that we do. Okay, so can we move on to item B? And that, if I'm using my, I think what it was.
I'm gonna give y'all a copy of the,
Do you
from
have-
now.
Yes.
It's the calendars from now all the way to next
Or your
December.
agenda for
And this is what's booked, this is what's gonna be going on right now, so we can.
Okay, the topic is brief discussion with facility and events manager about status of upcoming events and rentals. So, go ahead, Chad.
Okay, so right now I have from September all the way to next December. So I know 4th of July, the Freedom Fest is one of the dates that we really need to get fixed. But right now in December, we are looking to do the extravaganza. again. So we have the dates blocked out. If you see December 7th, 8th, and 9th, we're gonna use the 9th. The only reason why we blocked those dates out, just to nobody booked.
Sure.
So we have a move-in time. So that'll be our next major event for coming from the event center.
Okay.
So I really printed out all next year so we can look through the dates, if anybody has any ideas or any dates that they want to put in. Like I put in for Mayfest again, it was a small event, but it was a good.
It was a good event.
Good event, so we would like to do that again this year. Make it possibly even a little bigger, because we had about 200 to 300 people. And I think it's a good, no-cost event right before the 4th of July to get people out here and enjoy the facilities.
That just gets them familiar with what's out here.
Yeah, and get some from,
Yeah.
and then the parks will be done, so there'll be
Yeah.
more things for us to have, be able to use. And what I want to do is lock down the whole building, so we're able to use the gym and use the whole facilities
Sure.
instead of using just the ballroom. So we have a couple, we have that already locked down. I mean, if y'all really want to, set a date up for, because, in July and June, Freedom Fest really lands.
Because we were looking at the 29th, or actually the 30th, or the 1st, or something like that, so.
So the 30th is on a Saturday, and then the 1st is on a Sunday. And then the 4th lands on a Wednesday.
Well, we don't have that on the agenda to
Yeah.
move on, to act on tonight. That will be on the September.
Okay.
But you can, if you want to mark it on your tentative schedule, that would
Okay.
be fine.
So this is what's going on in the event center from here to next year. We are starting to get pretty booked. September, if you see in September, we're booked all weekend. Every weekend we're booked. We want to start doing, I really want to plan something for the fall. Small ideas, maybe like a football Sundays, have some screens out there where people can enjoy our patio. Something like that. We can't really do Fridays. Fridays nights will be kind of hard because people move in, they decorate, and then not only that, football games are starting Fridays. So it's kind of hard to set a really date for those. But I think what I really would like to do as well is next year, I mean, when the facility's not being used, we should do something with it. And just pick a day, or maybe like a monthly dance here. Even just having a DJ, have some music, people coming out. I mean, the facility's not being used anyways, and we can make a little bit of money than rather making none, letting the building sit here, I think that'll work. Also too, I do want to bring, maybe we can put that on the agenda too, that, for smaller venues, smaller weddings, we have the dividers really utilizing that. People that have $200-300 guests, we're really competing with the show barn, which is no comparison. But if we can really utilize those dividers, we can keep this place busy with the price, if we match their prices.
And that's the thing that I think the other thing we need to look at carefully is if we only, how much, can we afford to drop our prices on smaller area and keep it booked? I mean, we have to have the air conditioner on anyway. And the heat or whatever. I think we need to look at pricing things where, we can make up some of those things, not necessarily go with do it on a special rate basis that the board approves on a case-by-case basis or something like that.
Some partial use is better than no use.
Absolutely.
Yes, and,
I mean, if you make $100 on a bingo or bridge tournament or something like that, that's better than making nothing.
Yeah, making nothing. So, I mean, you see if you go in the ballroom, you see it's banquet 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
If we were to really knock off one side and use two-side banquet, we can actually compete with the pricing and do a $1,500 for one side with the kitchen. They still get a bigger and better facility for a good amount of price. That's just something that I think we need to look into to actually put that on our contract for people to have.
I'm all in favor of the building making as much money as possible. I think we need to tread carefully though, because we need to respect the quality of the events that are here. the air walls that are there, they don't go up all the way to the ceiling, so you tend to create a lot of ambient noise. One party could be louder than the other. If they're having a meeting here and a party here, and especially with the reverberation in that room, it carries. I mean, you've heard, if someone's speaking pretty loud in that room, it carries.
And that's one thing we couldn't do. I mean, I wouldn't have two parties going off at once. It'd just be one party, and we would just cut off the room, and we just give them a certain
This is
section.
actually gonna be one of the things I'm gonna be talking about next month, is about the acoustics in this